Hi everyone, welcome to episode 4 of Tomb Raider the Anniversary series. This one is called The Shadow of Lara Croft, where we talk about the dark side of the Tomb Raider. Today's guest is none other than the legend himself, Steve Of Warr. Hello.
Thank you. Hold your applause.
Hold the applause. Okay.
Hey,
How are you?
I'm pretty darn good. How about yourself?
I'm not too bad, thank you. I've been looking forward to this episode, actually.
Yeah, same. I always like appearing on like podcasts and shows, just chatting about Tomb Raider. It's fun. It's fun.
Yeah, been quite like not bricking it, but just like because I've watched it like the retrospectives. I'm like, as if he's on my show like now. Like this is mad for me. But
It's an absolute pleasure to be here, man.
no,
It's all
thank
good.
you. So, as I mentioned, today's episode is The Shadow of Lara Croft, where we're going to talk about the doppelganger, aka the dark side of Miss Croft, which we begin with Tomb Raider 1 in 1996. It's the Atlantis level, and you see this sort of character mimic every move that Lara does in a certain point in the level. What was your initial reaction when you first saw Bacon Lara, as we call her?
Am I allowed to swear?
Yes.
Okay, what the fuck is that? That was my first reaction to that. And it was just one of those things where when I was a kid, if I sort of mentioned this on the Crystal Dynamics stream that I did with Megan, but I mostly skipped through most of the levels when I was younger of Tomb Raider 1. I always skipped to a certain point. I always skipped to the Atlantis parts because I found them just absolutely fascinating, like visually. Yeah. And I really liked Natla's Mines. I really liked the Great Pyramid. But like going through and then getting to the point where you've got this like ET looking thing staring back at you that copies everything that you do. And young me was just thinking, what do I do with this? I can't kill it because it's obviously going to transfer damage to me. I die. So it was really kind of like, it was the first situation I think it presented to myself where I was thinking I genuinely I didn't feel equipped to know what to do with this or how to handle this situation. Because most of the puzzles up until that point have been pulling things, pressing things, flipping things, swimming to things, or jumping across to things. And neither of those things really apply to it. Well, they kind of do. Yeah. They kind of do. But it was just really fascinating. And working out that you had to basically, you had this symmetrical room and you had to make her fall into a pit was quite satisfying, actually. I remember it quite vividly. But yeah, it was just such a strange looking thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it does look like E.T. You're kind of right there, actually, thinking about it. I remember, I've mentioned this in every single episode, but I don't care. I'm going to say it again. When it was Christmas one year, I think it was like 1999 or something, we first got the PlayStation. And we got, it was like, I don't even remember what it is. It was like a box and it had different PS1 games in it. And one of them was Tomb Raider, the first Tomb Raider. And obviously I've mentioned like how shit scared I was of the wolves with the growling noise and stuff. But my sister was quite good at it. And we got to the doppelganger thing. And I screamed. I had the controller in my hand. Bearing in mind I was like 4 or 5. I had the controller in my hand and I was like running through to that bit. And next minute I see this red thing like stand there. And I just go, ah! Like proper pterodactyl scream, throw the controller, run out the room, shit scared of what the bloody hell this thing is. I didn't know how to like react to that when I was younger, because I didn't know what the hell it was. It looked like E.T. had been turned inside out with a massive head, and just like, what the hell is this?
What was it I said in my video? I think I said something along the lines of someone skinned an ET and ran it through a printing press.
Yeah, I can remember that.
Yeah. And it's just so strange. The neck, more than anything, is the longest part of it.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like, that's a bit weird. But the thing that actually, and sorry to be crude, the thing that made me kind of question what the heck is going on a bit is the fact that it looked like she had bony tits, as in like she actually had physical bones where her ribs normally would be, but her boobs for some reason just had bones, like thick bone plates.
Oh my God.
Maybe that was the future. Maybe it was the key to Natla's army conquesting the whole entire world, is just the fact that they had their boobs protected with bone. I don't know.
Fear my bony tits.
Yeah, it's bizarre, man.
Because there was no initial backstory of this doppelganger, we didn't even know it was back then. Like there was
No,
nothing
not at
to
all.
go by. It was just this red skinned alive creature that was like doing your every move, like mirroring your every move within it.
It also sort of makes you question, what is it about Natla's plan that made her suddenly think, do you know what? I'm going to make a flesh copy of my adversary. I'm
Yeah,
going to divide all my creative force whilst all this stuff is going on, whilst Adam's being birthed in the pod or whatever you want to call him. And then to have this entire room built for this one doppelganger, for this one person in the future. Yeah, it's just a bizarre concept, really. It's just like, aha, I know the thing that will stop Lara Croft herself with no skin.
I wonder what the
In a
co-design
closed
people was
room.
like. I bet there was like, we need something. We need an enemy that people aren't going to expect to say, oh, what about a skinned version of Lara? It looks like ET.
Yeah, the people wouldn't expect it.
No.
Certainly wouldn't expect it.
So,
Yeah,
of course, that was the only time that was the first appearance of the doppelganger from Tomb Raider 1. We didn't see her in the next few games until Tomb Raider got a facelift, as I call it, with
yeah.
Crystal Dynamics Tomb Raider
The
Anniversary.
first reboot.
Yeah. But we got to see Bacon Lara again, but this time she didn't look like ET, which is a good thing. But she looked a bit more like a skinned zombie to me in this version. Like the smooth bald head, and like I don't know if you could see, there was like you could see the teeth at the side of her mouth.
You could in the I'm just trying to see if I can find a picture of that particular version, because it is just haunting. It is haunting. So let me just see. Sorry, I've just got the Wikipedia page open for.
And she has eyebrows as well. Like, what the hell?
Yeah. Here we go. Yes, there it is. What the hell? Yeah, she's got, her cheeks are missing, completely missing. So you can see the inside of her mouth. But she has eyebrows. Yeah, I'd never noticed that before, this is the sort of stuff that I'm going to be looking at when I eventually get round to playing it. But yeah, she just does resemble a human version of, well, just a skinless humanoid, really, basically.
Because I think with Anniversary, obviously it was the remake. I think they made the task of killing her a lot more difficult, because I think you had to like turn like this massive thing in the middle of the room to open.
Yes, that's right, isn't there? Yeah, you had to sort of work together almost to kill the other person.
Yeah, it was,
which was interesting.
I got so far in Anniversary, but I didn't particularly like Anniversary for personal reasons.
Oh, did you not?
No, I don't know. When they say remake, I think, oh, great, it's going to be like an actual remake of the first game, not like make a remake and go many different directions to where you want to go, sort of thing.
Yeah, that's the thing with remakes and remasters. I think the terminology at the time wasn't very clear.
No.
So like people were expecting a remaster of it, which would be a one-to-one recreation, similar to what Crystal, I think, would basically, not Crystal, Core Design we're going to be doing for the PSP Anniversary Edition. But then you've got a remake, which is in the same vein of games like FF7 Remake have done, and also other games that have had remake in the title, where they've just taken liberties, but kept to the sort of theme and soul of the original. And I can see how people, if they went into Anniversary and were expecting a one-to-one remaster, they could come away a bit disappointed. I mean, I quite liked some of the stuff that they changed. I quite liked some of the stuff that they added, but it'd be interesting when I eventually go to revisit it, how much of that, my opinion, will change when I get to those games. But I'm very excited. Very excited to play Underworld as well for the first time.
I expected like a one-for-one shot remake of the manor, of how it was back in the day, and then we got Legend House with boxes where Zip's office.
Yeah.
And we got an outside as well. There was never an outside of the manor level of the first Tomb Raider game. But I think that was a nod to like Tomb Raider 2 and 3 with the maze. I think that's what they were going for. But I just
probably quite possibly, yeah.
I mean, just stick to the original material. But
I guess they had to add that because if you're going from Legends Manor, to then this, it would have been too similar, like too restricted, I guess.
Yeah.
So they wanted to do, I guess they wanted to do something different.
Because
So that's why they might have done
I
that.
think I know we're talking about Legend, but I think that isn't the manor a copy of the one from the film?
It is in a lot of ways. It's not exact,
No.
but the main hall, especially if you look at screenshots of the Angelina Jolie film, and you look at screenshots of the manor from Legend, it's clear that they've taken inspiration from that, even down to like placement of doors and where windows are and where the staircase is, and the tech room being right in the back behind bulletproof glass. It's clear that one inspired the other, and they're quite intertwined. It's something I definitely noticed when I was covering Legends.
Yeah. But so with the doppelganger boss battle, you could call it, really, where you essentially work with your own worst enemy to kill your own worst enemy. It was a lot. Yeah, it was more difficult in the actual in the remake rather than the original, because the original, you just pressed a button, climbed, platformed, done, killed. But this one, you had to turn something to open one of the trap, and then wasn't it timed as well?
It was timed, yes. So you basically had to spin this thing in the middle, and then under a time limit until the gate shuts, you have to stand in the exact spot to make Bacon Lara put themselves in the trash, essentially.
I'd love to know where Bacon Lara come from, because it is like
it's really appropriate, isn't it? It's really bang on the money. Of all the nicknames for all the characters, Bacon Lara is just so inspired. But the community, man, they're creative, shall we say?
But this one didn't have bony tits. Bacon Lara.
No, it didn't.
Anniversary
it didn't.
Bacon Lara.
It corrected that mistake.
Yeah. I would have loved if, what I said earlier, fear my bony tits, if the doppelganger from Anniversary just like burst through the room like, fear my bony tits. You had to like
in that exact accent, the same as yours. It would work better if it was fear my bony tits. Start shooting like spike. What was it they have? They have projectiles, don't they? The Atlanteans in the first one. They had like spines, didn't they?
Yeah.
If I remember rightly. Yeah, they shot spines at you, didn't they?
God.
Yeah, just have those just out the nipple area. Like the Austin Powers fembots.
Oh God. I could just imagine the doppelganger wearing the purple. Oh, what's it called? It's the fembots in Austin Powers movie where they wear the purple outfits with the skirts.
Yeah, like the feather boas and the stuff.
Yeah,
and
just
the deadly laundry, I think they call it. But it's
the
could you imagine someone the doppelho? Yes,
the doppelho is you rightly
the doppelho from Tomb Raider underpants. Yes.
Well, speaking of,
there you go. Title of the video. There we go.
Yeah, I think that'll go down well with Tomb Raider fans. So moving on from Anniversary, we've killed Bacon Lara once again in a timed. So could you call? I was going to say suicide. Would you call it? Or is that?
I mean, that would apply if it was actually yourself, but
yeah,
it's just a copy.
Like,
made from other materials, isn't it? I guess, yeah.
But from Anniversary to obviously killing Bacon Lara, we get an appearance from the Doppelho again. This time in Tomb Raider Underworld, which is the sequel to Legend.
Yes.
I remember that trailer coming out, the reversed trailer.
I have seen that. Yes, that was a really good trailer. Actually, I really thought it built up a lot of intrigue, and then the reveal at the end, with all the mansion basically building itself back up again. It was actually Doppelho, as you have designated her, blowing up the mansion. But we didn't know it was the doppelganger. We didn't know it was a copy. We thought it was actually Lara just like saying, do you know what? I need to renovate some things. And then, and that's it. But that was the mystery that we were presented with. And then obviously it was answered in the game when it came out.
There's a lot of speculation about Lara being evil in Underworld. And then obviously seeing that trailer thinking, oh, okay, maybe Lara is evil. Because I think it was to Angel of Darkness, the core design wanted to like completely get rid of Croft Manor or destroy it in some way.
Oh, okay.
So she wouldn't have anything to go back to, and it would completely destroy her. And I think that's what they kind of did with Underworld, like Crystal Design and that. with obviously having the double home burn down the mansion as you're actually in the mansion, which was quite clever actually, because in the beginning, you're walking through Croft Manor. Do you know? It looks like. Do you know the room, the library in Legend?
Yes.
And you go through that secret passage to get to her bedroom.
Yes.
It kind of looks like that hallway.
Yeah, I've actually booted up the first couple of levels of that game. So I have actually played the bit where you basically are playing that level and it's all falling around you. It's on fire. And she's like, oh my God, what's going on? And then at the end of it, you go into the main hallway, I believe. And that's where Zip pulls a gun on you. And it's basically left at that. And it picks up like earlier in the story. And that's where she starts her adventure.
But then when you get to Croft Manor level, which when they said there was going to be a Croft Manor level in Underworld, I didn't realize it was going to be underground, almost like the catacombs of Croft Manor, if you will. Very like church. It's like it looked like an abandoned church, or like basically. And
I've got a lot to look forward to then, clearly, because I played a custom level recently called Mists of Avalon, and you go into the Croft Manor crypt, and it's all got churches and stuff down there. So that's probably something useful for me to know, because I'm actually writing an episode on that to know about that, to make a comparison. It's probably a nod to that. But anyway, continue. Sorry, I've interrupted.
No, it's okay. You can interrupt. I'm fine with that. So yeah, there's like a little puzzle you have to do where you have to get, I guess it's like these panels, and there's like a light on this stained glass, and you have to switch the panels to make the shape of this person or something, like I can't remember exactly. And then another door opens, and then you get to her dad's study, and then you read about the gauntlet thing, and these two thrall creatures come like bursting through like the area, and you have to kill them. I didn't realize you had to like stamp on them to break them. I didn't realize.
Oh right,
that.
Okay.
You have to like, she does like a somersault and like dive bombs her feet onto the creature that breaks them completely.
Sounds like a move from Tekken.
It kind of
like a fighting game.
Yeah. But I didn't realize that when I was playing it. I just killed them. They fell. I was like, oh great, what do I do now? The next minute they get back up. I'm like, oh shit, what do I do now? Do I have to kill them again? Right, maybe it's like a 3 kill thing and then they're actually dead. But no one told me to press the button to front flip and like crush the skulls.
It's one of those things where if you've not seen that kind of enemy archetype before, like with the whole kind of, you've got to confirm the kill, so to speak, then you're just kind of like left like you were kind of floundering, thinking, what the heck am I doing wrong, so it's going to be interesting playing Underworlds, like especially now that you've mentioned the stuff to do with underneath Croft Manor, having so much underneath there. I'm excited for it. I'm also at the same time sort of wary, because I've had problems with the ports on PC recently with Legend and stuff. But it's going to be interesting, especially learning about the doppelganger story, and how that figures into everything. Because I originally thought that the doppelganger was actually the same one from Anniversary, but it isn't, is it?
No, they completely gave her as I like using the term facelift with things like these. So they give the doppelganger a facelift to make her look like a red-headed, veiny Lara with grey skin, sort of. The first time you see her, so you obviously you've killed those thrall creature looking things, and you have to like vault yourself up onto like a broken pathway or something, and then you open a secret door and it brings you into the hallway where you were at the very beginning of the game, where Croft Manor explodes, and you have to traverse your way through onto the main hall. And I think my favorite ever line that Lara has said, and it's still keeping with the savage and sassiness from Legend, is Zip. I'm going to say Zoop. Oh my god, Zip.
That's his cousin.
Goes, it's Zip's British cousin Zoop. He tries to shoot you, and she goes, "Drop it, Zip, or I'll drop you." I'm just like, wow, wow. Okay. I mean, it's not as bad as Japan level, where she says, "Try begging for your life like you did the last time we spoke."
Yeah, no, I like Keely Hawes's delivery. I
But
like her, Lara. I think she's really cool and badass. She sort of walks that fine line between being like really kind of gracious and sassy,
yeah,
instantly turn on a dime and it will be there, and it's just yeah,
I
brutal.
mean, we're not
So
going to get
I am
into
looking.
the pistol whipping of Amanda.
I love that. I thought that was brilliant.
I did,
Just straight around the face. Doesn't even care.
and then
To be fair, though,
the
Amanda
line.
she did deserve it though.
Yeah, she did. She told her to pull out the sword, and that happened. And then there's no excuse for being a bitch, Amanda. Come on. No one likes a bitch, Amanda.
No, indeed. Words to live by, I think.
But
That's a mantra for most people. Don't be a bitch.
I was going to say another word, but I want to keep this video on YouTube.
An unsavory little runt.
I love that. Love that saying. But yeah, the same delivery that Keely Hawes brings to Legend is in Underworld. Not only do we see the doppelganger again, but we see Natla as well in the first sort
Yeah.
of level.
Yeah, I thought that was an interesting move to
Yeah.
bring her back.
It was really weird because obviously you see her in Anniversary as Scorched Natla,
Yeah.
as they named her appropriately. But in the first game, she isn't scorched. She's just got the wings.
Yeah, in the original version, she just levels up, I guess. She just has her true form where she's just got Atlantean wings and she's got a gun on her arm because reasons, and that's her true form. But it basically is, isn't it? She's like high tech robot businesswoman.
Yeah.
And she basically, in the, like you said, in the Anniversary version, she's burnt, which makes sense because she fell into a pool of lava. So she is going to be burnt to hell. But yeah, in this one, she's back. She's in a glass jar, kind of like when someone traps a spider on the wall and they don't know what to do with it. They put a bit of paper underneath it and go, what do I do with this? And you have to desperately try and find a window to chuck it out of. But she's back, and her and Amanda are apparently working together, aren't they?
I know. Amanda's not got the tattoos anymore as well, which is...
Did they get rid of them?
Yeah, it looks like Amanda invested in tattoo laser removal. It seems
how interesting. That's because one thing I'm kind of getting from a lot of people that I've spoken to is that stuff that they set up in Legend doesn't really go much places in Underworld. They kind of skip over certain things.
I mean, there is a few nods to Legend, which I do quite enjoy. One
like
being,
what the hell happened to her sword? You know, I never see her wielding Excalibur in the footage that I've seen. Bearing in mind, I've not fully played the game.
She doesn't have Excalibur.
What happened to it then? Does she just leave it on the mantelpiece?
I think so. I think Winston's looking after it in the freezer.
Yeah, he used it to break out. Just like bye-bye, and then just like the doors fly open, and like Lara was like, "Right, Winston, take that, and put it somewhere safe where no one can use it now."
No,
it's bizarre.
In Underworld, I want to go back to the doppelganger actually before we go, because the ending is quite weird. I didn't realize that somehow Natla is in control of the doppelganger, which kind of makes sense from the first game because she created her essentially. But just that scene where you have to go into Zip's office because it's locked, you have to climb over, and there's a cut scene where Lara looks at her reflection but sees these glowing eyes, and it's like moving with her in perfect sync, and then she comes forward more and it's a doppelganger. Now this is the first time we've seen doppelganger with actual human skin and looking like an actual human being, not like ET or a zombie with eyebrows essentially. But there's just that little bit a moment where she's moving backwards with her hand on a gun, and then the doppelganger grabs the gun, and then unfortunately shoots Alistair. Unfortunately,
I have heard that the Jar Jar equivalent of Tomb Raider does bite the dust in Underworld.
Amanda?
Who's Amanda? Indeed. I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that's how much it sounded like Jar Jar until I started playing around with the audio for that, and I just singled that small sound bite sounds exactly like he's doing a Jar Jar impression.
Oh my god! Yeah,
R.I.P. Colombian Oxford pimp. he looks like someone's trying to dress up as Scarface, but he has the
Yeah,
voice of someone who went to Eton. You know,
yeah, I know what you mean.
it's bizarre. Sorry,
When
carry on. This
when
is
you
my rant at Alistair. He's a weird character.
Yeah, it is. I mean, why would you need someone who knows everything about the country that you're in, where you've got someone where you're playing a character who knows every single thing there is to know about geography and where she is?
I guess he's supposed to be kind of acting as a kind of how do I put this? He's basically like the tea boy
Yeah,
almost, where he's basically doing all the
yeah,
stuff, the shit jobs that Lara doesn't either have time to do, inverted
yeah,
quotes, or just can't be bothered to. So she's just kind of delegating, like a manager
yeah.
does at a fast food restaurant or any place, just sort of saying, "You there, basic boy,
That
woman, person, you do this. I can't be bothered to do this. I'm off tomb raidering and getting shiny things, you
yeah.
know."
I'm off to
So I
find
guess
a
he's
friend that's not dead, but is dead. But I think she's dead, but she isn't dead. But she escaped, but I think she's dead.
damn it, Lara, I'm busy. Like the first words that are said
That's
to her
so
when they
funny.
when they meet for the first time in years is she just goes, "Damn it, Lara, I'm busy."
I mean, that line
But
she
I
says
think
about the creature is questionable. I touched it and it touched me. I'm just like, um, when I was younger, I didn't realize that. Yes, from your retrospective video.
show me on the doll. Show me, Jake. Show me where. Show me.
Damn it, Steve, I'm busy.
I hear that a lot from my wife.
Oh god. If you when you
I
do
kid.
eventually play Underworld, Lara screams no when Alistair gets shot, but it sounds like she's saying moo. And there was
No.
a YouTube. I don't know if you remember a guy called Tomb Raider Trailer Man on YouTube.
I've heard of Tomb Raider Trailer Man, but honestly, I'm so late to the scene on the community. I've all these names I'm hearing for the first time. Norse Chick has told me about TR Trailer Man.
He used to do parodies called Crazy Croft. There's about 20 odd of them now. And
Goodness.
one of them was Underworld. And it's a clip that it says, notice how Laura's saying moo. And it's like a caption underneath that bit, and he's just replaying the clip over and over again. And she's essentially going, no, but it sounds like moo, moo.
I've got to look this up. Sorry, bear with me 2 seconds. I'm going to look this up because that sounds too delicious to not talk about. But I sort of like expanding a bit on Alistair. Like, I think the reason why Alistair was included was the fact that the movie had two sidekick characters and they
Yeah.
needed to do the same thing.
I mean,
Because
what I didn't get was in the movie, the sidekick is not it's not Zip, but then again, it was Chronicles where Zip made his first appearance.
yeah,
If you can't find the clip, I'll send it to you later. It's
oh, that's fine.
Episode.
I probably won't be able to find the meme, but I will probably be able to find the particular scene where she goes moo. Hang on. Hang on, I'm skipping. I've got music playing. Oh, that was rubbish. That was just music playing over the top of it. Yeah, just send me the link. Otherwise, I'm going to be here for ages, and I don't want to keep you waiting.
No,
But yeah, but yes, I've completely forgotten what we were talking about. We're talking about when Alistair gets shot. I think
yeah.
that's where we got to, wasn't it?
The bit
And we kind of
yeah,
tangented.
it does sound like moo, but I initially thought she said moo at the first time I played it. I wasn't. Is it bad that I wasn't upset when Alistair got shot?
I mean, it depends on your affinity personally with the character. I doubt very much like I'm going to shed a tear for Alistair of all
No.
people, but there might be some people out there that got attached to Oxford Scarface. Don't know. There might be. Let us know in the comments, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I didn't feel no sympathy for him. Although I did used to like making him react in Legend when I did the flips and stuff. And I used to love the line. Sometimes she absolutely terrifies me.
I'll get the diamond hydronates, I think is one of the things he says in Japan, isn't it?
Yeah. The England
This
level
is
is
making me
quite
violently sick.
I don't know why the doppelganger didn't make an appearance in Legend. I mean, I guess
Probably because they didn't plan that far ahead.
yeah, but I think this is more like a not a conspiracy theory, but maybe the doppelganger did. Maybe it was that creature that Amanda was attracted to, I guess you could say, in a way. That's how I kind of see it now, like looking back and stuff. Because when you have the boss battle, I know the monster's supposed to follow you around the room to kill you, but it's just a theory I've had for like ever since watching like walkthroughs of Legend, that it could possibly relate to the doppelganger. Obviously, it isn't because it's not canon with the anniversary in Underworld. Well, it kind of is, but then you see the doppelganger in Underworld. But once Alistair's been shot, there's a scene where Lara tries to open the door from the inside, and the doppelganger is just there in her face, and she tries to like shoot her, but she like matrixes out the way, grabs Lara's arm, like kicks her in the gut about 3 times, and then just completely knocks her out, and then does like this, I can't think what the name is, like this massive hop out of the burning manor. Alistair, Zip and Winston see her outside. She looks at him and like just runs off as if nothing's happened, and then Lara's walking out with Alistair, and it's like, what the hell was that thing? And it's just like it's the way that you didn't know that Natla was essentially controlling her from the beginning.
It sort of all ties back to the fact that they wanted to make Natla a recurring villain for this whole thing. And it's like, if we got another entry past Underworld, it would have been interesting to see how they would have continued that, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's sort of like, I don't know why they needed to.
No.
Amanda, I think, would have been more than enough of an antagonist, because she was set up to be in Legend. And yes, there was that Easter egg of the technology crates being in Bolivia Redux, but I don't know. I mean, I think that would have been just a nod to If you replay the final boss level of Legend, you look at the wooden crates before you smash them with the sword. The texture on it actually says it's got Natla Technologies logo on it.
Wow.
Yeah. So they were foreshadowing this happening even before they made Anniversary.
Yeah.
But I always assumed from that it was just going to be, they're going to just go back to the story of the first one, not that she was going to keep coming back.
Yeah.
But it's kind of one of those things where I wish that more recurring villains from the classic like bestiary would come back. I want to see like a reinterpretation of Marco Bartoli. I want to see what Dr. Willard would look like reimagined. I want to see what Von Croy would be like. I just want him to do something else. I mean, it was great that Natla's kind of like I guess she's an iconic villain because she's the first of the series, and everyone remembers your first. But it's just one of those things where, like, especially with the doppelganger, I think the reason why I didn't pick up Underworld when it was out, because I think I had the option to, and I played the demo of it with the big Kraken in the big room. We have to drop the thing on its head. And there you go. Was the fact that the marketing was cool and all, but it essentially the idea of there being 2 Laras, to me, I don't know what it was about it, but it just didn't sit right.
Yeah.
It sort of seemed a bit like, they've brought back this, because I was under the impression that this was the same Lara that was put in the pit in Anniversary in the original, that had somehow survived, and obviously it got skin and had used the identity of its killer, Lara, to basically assume its identity to copy, to basically fuck with her. That's the kind of my headcanon what it was going to be in, like, and obviously it's different.
Yeah.
But I just thought that was just a bit strange. I don't really know, and I think I just moved on to other games at the time, so I was less inclined to want to go back and go to the series. But now I've got a chance to, and I'm going to. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what it actually did. But it's just, I don't know. The whole kind of evil shadow thing. Yeah. It's a bit cliche in some areas if it's done incorrectly, but I don't know. A lot of people seem to have responded positively. So what would you say?
I get what you mean with the Lara in the doppelganger in Anniversary being similar to that. With the idea of 2 Laras, I sort of thought Underworld was going to go into like a horror, in a horror type route. Have something similar to Angel of Darkness, where Lara is made out to be the killer of Von Croy. responsible for his murder. But yeah, I kind of wanted something like that. But what we got, I enjoyed anyway. The only thing was, obviously the doppelganger is meant to be stronger, because in Lara's Shadow, the DLC, she says, "I am you, but with the flaws removed." And
yeah,
but you don't get that in Underworld. You get that in the DLC.
A DLC that has still yet to make its way off of Xbox 360.
I know there's talks of it apparently now.
There is, yes, and I can say that because Megan Marie herself have basically said on stream to someone who asked in the chat. They asked exactly the same question as everyone else was.
Yeah.
So when are we going to see this DLC? See, like remasters, blah 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 blah. But she actually answered the DLC one, saying that they are looking into it. It's just a legality thing.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see how they'll bring that to the PC ports and make them available. Because outside of emulating them, I've got no way of actually being able to play them, because you have to download them from the store to obviously access them. But
you do.
As far as I know, you can't anymore. I'm pretty sure.
If you've got,
or can you?
Yeah, if you've got an old Xbox 360 console, you can.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
All right, so the store still has it.
I think you can still it's on the Xbox 360 and the Xbox One store though.
Okay.
Because I think I bought obviously I've got Legend and Underworld on the 360.
Mm-hmm.
And I had an old 360 console, not the old one, but the newish one that came out just after.
The slim, the black one.
Yeah, thank you.
I got the same. Yeah.
And
the one that does a red ring of death.
Yeah.
Every 5 seconds.
We'll not get into that.
No. I tried the towel trick. I tried everything when I first happened.
I did as well, and it worked for like 10 minutes, and that was it. But they had Beneath the Ashes as well on the store, and I downloaded that, and it was on my console, but I never played it. Never got around to playing it. But they had Lara's Shadow as well, and yeah. You don't get to know the full story of the doppelganger in Underworld unless you get Lara's Shadow.
No, which is unfortunate. A lot of people would have experienced the same thing, and it's going to be interesting for me because I've now got a capture card, so I can technically capture console footage, but I've actually got a way to. I've got an Xbox 360 emulator on my PC. And I've got members of my community have basically been helping me get the DLC up and running.
Yeah.
And one person I know has, and it works relatively well. So if I can get it up and running, I'm going to basically say to people, hey, people who are looking to play this on PC, this is what you can do.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. So we'll have to see. So that's something I'll be excited to explore. Much like I did with the whole fixing texture bugs with Legend and stuff. It's the same sort of vein with that. If there's anything I can do to help improve the experience for people, I'm going to see if I can do it as well as covering the game and the history and stuff.
Nice. I'd like to try and play that. I'd like to play Lara's Shadow again, because you essentially control the doppelganger, and she's got a whole combat moveset, and it's a cool concept what they tried to do with her. They could have done it a little bit better though, if I'm honest. But
oh really?
Yeah. Some of the combat was a bit I don't want to be negative, but I'm gonna have to be. It was repetitive, sort of.
Go for it, dude. If it's bad, then you got to tell it.
It kind of reminded me. They had like a stamina bar for the doppelganger to climb up like the walls and stuff. With this blue light around her, which made essentially
the worst
was like
part of Angel of Darkness they brought back. Why?
I was about to mention it reminded me of Angel of Darkness with the stamina bar a little bit.
Sorry, I probably jumped ahead of that there, but that's instantly what I thought of, and I just rolled my eyes because I'm thinking to myself, yeah, stamina bar is great for the sprinting in Tomb Raiders 3 and 4 and whatnot, but climbing, shimmying, and any kind of a basic traversal, no. Now. Yeah, exactly. My legs feel stronger. Maybe I'll make that jump, or my footstep speed has increased. When you open a cupboard door or some innocuous nonsense.
That's all I'm going to say with that.
Bless her. She worked with the material that she was given. That's all I'll say.
I still like the interview that she does, the Lara Croft interview where she's in mocap.
Oh, yeah, mocap Lara Croft. That's That was weird, wasn't it?
Have you seen the bloopers?
Yes. It's just like, oh shit.
Well, I thought it was crap anyway.
Yeah, oh god, I could watch that for hours. It's great. It's
It's
nice
the,
just seeing her be
yeah,
so honest and so like so frank, and out of character.
it's the
I
bit.
love it.
Oh, is that it? Sorry, that was a practice. I don't want more. Yeah.
And plus plus what also makes that video is the fact the motion capture isn't quite obviously to modern standards
Yeah.
now, so it's all very kind of stilted and awkward looking.
It's a lot better than the Lara Croft commercials that G4 had. If you've seen them,
I
with
think I
the Lara
have.
Croft on the beach being buried in sand.
Yeah. Or when she's driving past a whole bunch of
Oh.
like hunky surfers. For is it Nissan or Fiat? I think it was for those adverts, car adverts.
Or is it Seat?
Seat, that's it, or Seat, as I like to call it sometimes. Seat.
Yeah,
What do cars have? Seats.
just make the name sound fancy.
I'll put apostrophe over it. It's fine. It will sound.
Yeah, it's fine. It's like
it will sound foreign.
Whole microwave debacle. Like, oh
Put it in the microwave. The pop de ping.
Oh god. So I want to end on this question now. So obviously there's talks of the timelines like being merged together for the next Tomb Raider game, which could also mean they'll bring back a variation of the doppelganger. What would you like to see the doppelganger possibly do in the next Tomb Raider game?
Yeah.
If you could, if he was on the team, I'll ask this to Chris actually. If he was on the development team for the next Tomb Raider game, and you had an idea about the doppelganger, what would you do with the doppelganger? What story?
I've got ideas about other things, but also the doppelganger. I probably would. I don't know if I would bring the dark side of Lara back. I think it's a bit too. It would have to be a good reason to bring that whole dark side of her back. The problem is that with the modern era of games, the gap year Lara era, as I like to call it, she basically has already explored the dark side of her personality anyway. So it would be a bit redundant to all of a sudden bring out this copied version of herself, which essentially is just like Black Superman, as in like with the like Neo Super. Oh, what is the name of that character? But do you know what I mean? Like the evil Superman. We'll just say evil Superman. Or Black Adam, versus Shazam. But I don't know. I mean, I personally wouldn't do that. I personally would try to explore something a bit new. I would want to see her definitely return to her more kind of fantastical, globe-trottering, confident adventures. Like one thing I've said on stream and other times is that I'd love to see coming back would be something like the level structure of Tomb Raider 3. Would be amazing to see. So you could choose your own adventure. You could go all to these different parts of the world and basically like explore, raid, solve puzzles, and it's all about the atmosphere. But I mean, if they were to bring Doppelganger Lara back, I would be intrigued to see what they did with her. It would have to be a darn good reason to bring a clone version of the main character back that's evil. It's a very old school trope, but I think it depends on how they execute it. Like with most things, because tropes in themselves aren't inherently bad.
No.
It's the overuse of them that make them bad.
Yeah, it is.
And yes, so if I was in charge of Crystal Dynamics or Eidos and Nixes or whoever's going to make this new bloody game, I would just kind of want to inject some of the fun back into it.
Yeah.
Tomb Raider to me is all the whole game and the whole series is about presenting the level as a big puzzle for you to solve through platforming, through kind of like switches, item collection, combination. But the combat is kind of like the sprinkling on top of that, the seasoning. So I'm hoping that the series kind of goes back to that, focuses more on the atmosphere, isolation, goes back to sort of you puzzle solving and platforming and stuff, and having some combat just in there, like it used to be.
Yeah.
You know?
I'd like a lot more.
That's my dream.
I've said this in a previous episode. I've always wanted an apocalypse style game with Tomb Raider.
Okay.
See, the sort of story I had was Lara gets bitten by this hooded figure that we don't know. We essentially think it's a zombie at first, and
Okay.
throughout the levels, she gets more deteriorated, gets worse. But I did like time travel into it, so you'd revisit classic levels from like the first few games, but
Okay.
they'd not be as you remembered them, but they'd all be distorted and twisted and dark, and there'd be like zombie like
Ah,
enemies coming at you.
familiar yet different.
Yeah, so they'd and each of every level at the end of each level there'd be like a mini boss you'd have to fight in order to progress to the next level.
Hmm.
But there'd
You know
be
what's quite
times.
interesting? What do you know what's quite interesting about that? Sorry to interrupt.
That's all right.
Is that you've made me think of Mercy Schofield, the writer for Angel of Darkness. Like part of what he
Yeah,
was originally intending the fight with Eckhart at the end to be like was
yeah,
essentially
he
he was
was.
going to make her go through parts of Lara's history, and
Yeah,
that really reminded me of that because I think that if there's a way to bring some of that back or reimagine it, I think that would be amazing. Like you said, that's like
yeah,
a cool idea, something familiar and like nostalgic to Lara as a character and sometimes to the player as us, I guess.
yeah.
Just but something's not quite right with it to
No,
make it quite threatening and haunting
yeah.
and change the atmosphere a bit. It could be, yeah, that could be quite good.
So you'd like flip, like say, the caves level, the very first level that you do. 1 minute it could look like how you remember it. The next minute it could be all just like twisted and turned on its head, and you don't know what's going off, where it's coming from, like zombified wolves or that kind of thing.
Ooh, okay.
Um,
Yeah.
and then like obviously the classic bridges, but then there's like hordes of like zombies or something at the bottom, and it's a lot deeper than you remember and a lot more weird. Like there's like a massive horror element to it.
I kind of wish they did that at the end of Tomb Raider 5. I know they didn't have enough time to do it, but
Yeah,
I said in my video that I think it would have been a fucking great bait and switch if when Lara goes through that teleporter in VCI, if she suddenly just arrives in this absolute hellscape,
yeah,
like she's just in this completely familiar looking place to start with, but the further she goes back into the building, it's just completely
yeah,
twisted. Something like I don't know how familiar with Doom you are, but like Doom Eternal's version of Earth, where it's all scorched. It's got like
yeah,
these tendrils and stuff, and other creatures doing like walking around, and it's all like crumbled, burning buildings
yeah,
or something like that. Just something really quite disturbing would have been an amazing twist. I think the
yeah.
ending
It
would have been
was.
a great sticking point if you spent the rest of it trying to escape this dimension because Von
Yeah.
Croy's messing around with this iris that
Oh,
you've had to try and steal back, you know?
yeah.
That sounds very similar to what you're. That sounds very similar to what. I'm glad that we're on the same wavelength when it comes
Yeah.
to fan fiction. It seems that's really cool. That's really quite cool.
With
It just yours has infinitely more zombies than mine does.
my twist, I came up with a twist. So you
Ooh.
get to the sort of last level, but it's under Croft Manor, like in Underworld,
Mm.
and it's the first bit in that Croft Manor level. And obviously, you fight off the odd zombie that's creeping around the corner, or this creature. And then oh my god,
Ah, fake fan.
Laura, Laura Croft.
Cancelled.
I think the things I've said, I would have been cancelled by now, honestly. Yeah, Laura Croft, the protagonist. No, so Lara gets weaker through the game, and she eventually collapses and starts turning. If you like, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, like a lot of like lycanthropy and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
but she sees the hooded figure like appear in different places of the level, kind of like
Mm.
a bit like, I can't think of there's a game where it does that. It's like hallucinating that someone's there and it's not, and it's all like different places, like close up and far away.
Batman Arkham Knight did the same
Thank
thing with
you.
the
Yeah,
Joker.
that's the game. Yeah, it's like that. And then the hooded figure reveals to be the doppelganger from Underworld.
Ah,
Who,
yes. Cool. Yeah.
who essentially essentially bit you. But there's something bigger than that. And Natla is the one controlling this whole thing. She's the cause of the apocalypse, and obviously made a new variation of the doppelganger where she's essentially a zombie. And then I said somehow, and then I just got off. I went too far, and I said, "Oh, just bring a mother back into it. Why don't we?
Like, bring the whole family back. Yeah, just wheel them in, mother. Johnny."
But then, so Natla essentially waves the cure in front of your face, and you have to battle the doppelganger to obviously once and for all. Then battle Natla, but she chickens out at the last minute and drops the cure and runs off. So that leads an open door. I kind of came up with two endings for it. One ending was you take the cure and you're back to normal, but your mother's still a zombie and dies on the spot kind of thing, which I don't know. I'm not very creative with deaths. And then another ending was Lara throws the cure at her mother, and her mother turns back to normal. And then Lara just turns to gets infected and like runs before
she succumbs to her illness, sort of thing. Sort of accepts her fate.
But yeah, someone should be writing this down and taking it to Crystal.
Well, you're recording this, so no doubt they're going to be able to hear this publicly.
Crystal, if you're listening, sign me up. I'll do the Tomb Raider Apocalypse. I came with the poster and everything. It was
did you?
I've always wanted like a zombie type game with Lara.
Did you come up with a poster?
Yeah, it's not very good.
Yeah, I'll send it to me. I'll have a look at this now. I want to see the fruits of your labor, so to speak.
Used, you know, the promotional pictures of Lara with the Nintendo Wii controllers.
Yes.
Anniversary, a Wii version of Anniversary. That sounded Scottish then. A Wii version of Anniversary.
Oh, the Wii Anniversary!
Oh God. Yeah.
Oh, I ain't got regular Nintendo. I got the Nintendo Wii. It's a wee little Nintendo.
Oh my God. Yeah, it was on Planet Lara.
I bet loads of people in Glasgow were freaking doing that joke repeatedly when the Nintendo Wii came out. I bet they were. Yeah. More than likely.
There was an image that someone made, and it was a zombified Lara, and it had the Wii controllers, and one was carrying the Nintendo Wii remote thing, and one arm was ripped off essentially, and I kind of used that in the background, and it was faded, so you couldn't really see where it was, but you could, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah.
And then I just found a royalty-free image of like an apocalypse setting where there's hordes and hordes of zombies.
Good old stock images. I'll tell you what, the amount of times I've had to rely on stock footage and stock video for my stuff for certain things.
But yeah, I coloured it red, like the poster for this episode. And I did the tagline, "Can you survive the apocalypse?"
Can you survive the apocalypse? You know, lightning and yeah.
The website was www.trapocalypse.com.
You had a website for this?
Yeah, I had an imaginary website that I might make on Wix.
Go for it. Why not? Why the hell not? We've all got time.
Exactly, yeah.
Time. Work on it.
Well, Steve, thank you very much for being my guest on today's episode. It's been an absolute pleasure having you. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
If you want to follow Steve, I will put his social media links in the description below. Yes, I'm a YouTuber now, so I can say that. And if you want
to the club.
If you want to subscribe to my channel, feel free to, and you will be notified when the next episode of this anniversary series will be up. So yeah, cool. Thank you again, Steve.
No problem at all. Thank you for having me.
I'll see everyone in the next episode. Bye, everyone. Bye.